Come listen and I'll tell you how first I went to sea to fight against the British and win our liberty. We shipped with
Hello, I'm Samuel Siegel, Executive Director of the AWI Privateer Museum, and welcome to our first episode of A Drop of History for December 2021. We decided to start doing a monthly podcast to bring you the information on the history of the privateers during the American War of Independence, as well as the happenings of the museum. We will eventually move this to be a subscription-based service, but for the first few episodes and select ones throughout the year, we'll make those available to everyone. I decided that December would be a good time to start this, as historically it was truly the start of privateering here in the colonies. But before I get into that, let me tell you a little bit about some of the things we've been doing here at the AWI PM. We just finished our 5th season this past November, and right before that we finally put together a name that suits us just a little bit better. Now comes the hard part. The transition from the old SPHS name to the new AWI PM branding. We've done a lot of work. We've revamped our website. We've created a few new exhibits for the museum, which debuted this past November. And we've got plans for more new exhibits for next season. Hopefully, within the coming years, we will also find a permanent home for the museum. But in order to do that, however, we need funds, which means fundraising. Thus, the new subscription-based content service we're in the process of creating and doing things like putting our new logo on things like t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, etc. We also hope to have our Patreon up and running early next year, so we'll have more content coming to you in various ways through that. And now on to the history. So, not really privateer history, but important history nonetheless when it comes to the Revolution. On December 16th in 1773, the destruction of the tea, as it was known, happened. And that came to be later known as the Boston Tea Party. And that phrase was first coined in the early 1820s. Then it was in early of December 1775 that privateer really started to get going. But it started without the approval of Congress. It was left to the colonies to set their own guidelines on this, right up until the following spring when Congress ironed everything out. And we'll get more into that in our March episode. December 15th in 1781, privateer Captain Hyler commanded a flotilla of no less than 8 whaleboats against a loyalist privateer, or a refugee, known as Shore Stevens, and he captured 2 of his refugee sloops. Then, in December 20th of 1782, was in what came to be known as the Battle of the Delaware Capes, South Carolina privateers, along with 3 other American ships, were attacked by 3 British frigates in the Delaware Capes. And that happened not too far from here at all. Actually, most of this stuff happened relatively close to where we are right now. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up General Washington's crossing of the Delaware in 1776, especially this time of year. Now, it wasn't a privateer action, but it was still a huge turning point in the war. And that's your privateer history update and your update on the AWI Privateer Museum for December 2021. If you or anyone you know would like to get involved with the museum, either as a historical interpreter, a volunteer, or as a supporting member, please come and visit us on the web at awiprivateermuseum.org. And thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.
We sailed and kept good